Today I'm talking to Rae Kokeš, the founder of World Lion Day. She is a conservation biologist from Yorkshire, England. She has established the Matusadona Lion Project in Zimbabwe. She was a co-researcher for the Greater Limpopo Carnivore program in Mozambique. She is a member of both the African Lion Working Group and the IUCN SSC Conservation Breeding Specialist Group. Hi, Rae. Happy World Lion Day.
Hi, thanks very much, and to you too.
Thanks for joining me today. World Lion Day aims to celebrate the awareness of lions and raise awareness about the danger they are in. Why are they called apex predators?
An apex predator is sort of the top of the food chain. You have different what you call trophic levels in it. So if you think of a chain, you could start with your vegetation, and then the animals that eat the vegetation, and then the animals that eat the animals that eat the vegetation, and they're your apex predators. And you could also call humans apex predators in that sense, but that's more because of our intelligence and our impact on our surrounding landscapes, ecosystems, the world as a whole.
Lion cubs are so cute. It's fun that the cousins grow up all together in a big family with dads watching over them while moms hunt. Is that really how it works?
It's certainly, I've loved lions since I was your age and younger, and that's something I used to think. And that was because a lot of the first research done on lions was in East Africa, predominantly, and big open landscapes, and that landscape would shape what we call the demographics of lions. So how many males and females, and sort of the structure of the family units. It varies greatly. So where I worked in Southern Africa, it was quite different. So for example, all your females may be related or not related in a pride, and they'll raise the cubs together. And by having lots of females, it's the same with people, lots of people raising a little baby, that baby's got a better chance of survival, learning social skills, etc. And then the females will also hunt together. But the males, they go through a period of their life where they have to fend for themselves. So when they leave their mothers, they're out on their own in the wilderness, and they have to hunt. And when they become older, they may join females who will hunt, but they'll also partake. So one group of males I studied in Matusadona, this was really exciting. They arrived in the national park coming from a different area. They walked hundreds of Ks to be there, and they were hunting for themselves. They didn't depend on the females at all. And what they were hunting was elephant. It was really interesting. And what was really, really surprising is they would kill these quite large elephants. And it would be too much for them to eat. And then so the females would benefit from them. So it was almost like the males were hunting for the females in a way. And there were some other males that I got to know. They were very, very small cubs, and I watched them grow, and they eventually left their mothers to go and make their own territories. But what they'd done is they'd learned from their mothers how to hunt crocodiles. So Matusadona is on this big man-made lake called Lake Kariba. It's a really, really cool park, really interesting. And the females had figured out how to hunt crocodiles, where they would jump on them when the crocodiles were on land and flip them over. And they'd eat sort of these softer bits. It was a bit gross, but really cool. And the little male cubs had watched their mothers do this as they grew up, and then they left, and we found them again in a new area, and they were hunting crocodiles, and no one had seen that before. So they're really, males, they don't get enough credit. They do a lot.
Yeah. So it's basically them just taking skill.
Exactly, yeah. So when you're a grown man, you're going to have learned some really great skills from your mother. I'm sure you'll probably already know how to cook this, that, and the other, and you'll just carry that on.
Yeah. What do you think is the most amazing thing about lions?
There's so many things. Their loyalty within a pride, how they so loyal to one another and will defend one another, and I've been so privileged to see the kinship between different pride members and their characters. But this is true to any animal, really, any species. They have such different characters. There was a pride I studied, and you get to recognize them facially. They're all very different, like how you and I can recognize our family members and our friends. And I remember I got to know these lions so well to a point where I would find the pride and they'd all be lying down and I couldn't maybe really see their faces. But there would be this one lioness and she'd be trying to catch flies. And I knew straight away who it was. Just little things like that, all these silly little things.
Yeah, so like their hobbies basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put
You
it.
can tell by their skills.
Yeah, yes. So going back to the hunting, actually, there was some really interesting and kind of funny research about hunting amongst females, and you would have what's called your cheaters. So these females, there isn't really like a dominance in females, but some females are a little bit more, I don't know, in charge. And these females, they would watch the other females in the pride maybe start a hunt and sort of do all the work. And then they would come in at the end and then eat all the food and basically cheating. They didn't have to do any effort. It was like watching their friends do all the shopping, put it in the car, bring it out, put it in the fridge, and then they would just stuff their faces and sit down, not have to partake in anything.
Yeah. Do you have any stories about things that have happened to you while you were studying them in the wild?
Yes, many. We could be here for days. Some of the funnier ones, I've had lions chew my tires. I've witnessed lions steal shoes and then had to chase them to get the shoes back. I've had lions chase me a couple of times and everything's been fine, but that's been a bit scary. Some of my most fond memories are in Matusadona. There was a lioness in particular I knew very well called Ivory, and she was in a pride called the Conjedza Pride. So when I moved to that park, people would see lions, but not very often. And this one pride was quite elusive, really hard to see in this kind of remote part of the park. And I'd been to find them, I was using camera traps. So these little remote cameras that you tie to a tree and they're motion triggered and really, really cool. And I went to check this camera and it was gone. And I was like, oh no, what's happened? And then I found it, it'd been ripped off the tree. And I'm looking and looking and I can see there's all these big cat footprints all around. And I thought, okay, I know who's taken this camera. And then I look up and I heard this growl and it was Ivory in the bushes. I didn't realize she was there and I got a fright and I'm on foot and my vehicle was quite far behind me. And I managed to walk away slowly and I got in the car. She sat in the bushes and disappeared. And I thought, oh, this is really exciting and I'll wait. And later that afternoon, hours and hours later, she came out of the bushes with the whole pride. It was so special. And they played in front of me. And yeah, over the years, I got to know her really well to the point where I actually was walking through the bush with a friend and we walked onto them really closely accidentally. And we managed to just sit down calmly at a safe distance. And we must have sat with them for maybe half an hour or so, really peacefully. It was really, really special.
Cool. So it's like they were just waiting to snatch someone when they went to pick up the camera.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think when I looked at the camera later, they'd like basically, you know how cats, they'll play with a ball, like bat it around. That's what they do. It had an interesting smell. I've had so many cameras pulled down by lions and lots of almost like selfies, and elephants as well. They would pull the cameras off. And I had an elephant do that and it was holding it with its trunk and it turned the camera around and taken the selfie of itself.
Lion populations have dropped by more than 40% in the last 2 decades, and there are now only 23,000 worldwide, and are listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List of threatened species. Why are they falling so much so fast?
A variety of reasons, and these reasons differ in different areas of Africa. So the main ones are habitat loss. There's not enough land left for lions. They require huge landscapes, and these landscapes also need to be connected. So we have some areas of Africa do have big landscapes, but they're not connected. All around them are a lot of human-dominated areas. Prey loss, so basically not enough to eat. So again, you might have a nice big area, but there's actually not a lot of prey within that area. Human wildlife conflict, so lions that may kill livestock, for example, and then consequently people may kill those lions. Poaching, so that's something my husband and I discovered in one area of Mozambique where they were really sadly, they were killing lions, and they were killing them for their teeth and their claws for different reasons. And all these reasons are also made worse by climate change. It's something that's not talked about too much, but that's sort of the baseline for a lot of these problems.
Lions are called a keystone species. What does that mean?
A keystone species it's a species whose presence within an ecosystem or a landscape has impact on other species in that same ecosystem or landscape. So if you were to remove them, all those other species would have a negative, it would have a negative impact on them. So a really small example would be, we know lions hunt and kill their prey. When a lion's made a kill, it might leave quite a lot from a carcass, and that carcass, so these elephants that these big males in Matusadona would kill, the lions that would kill the elephant, sorry, they would leave a huge amount of meat. It's an elephant, there's only so much a lion can eat. So the hyenas would feed on it, civets would feed on it, the vultures, insects, everything and everybody would feed on that. If those lions disappeared, that food source is going to disappear
for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, and how when lions are hunting, it shapes how their prey behave. So shaping how herbivores who feed on plants will shape how the system grows, how trees grow and rivers flow. Making sure we have keystone species, and particularly apex predators, is super important.
What do you wish more people knew about lions?
How important they are ecologically, which we've talked about, but also socially and culturally. So that's why World Lion Day was started. We know how important they are as keystone species, apex predators, all these fancy terms, but socially, so not just indigenous peoples in Africa, but worldwide. So lions are so significant across the globe. They're more prevalent in cultures than any other animal. We'll see them on stamps, we'll see them on coins, we'll see them on front doors, we'll see them in music videos, on t-shirts. They're everywhere. I always used to challenge people, go a whole day without seeing a lion somewhere, a lion symbol. So I feel as though humans have an obligation, wherever they are in the world, to make sure this species survives.
Is there anything kids like me can do to help protect lions?
More of what you're doing. I think having advocating, having a platform, having a voice is so important. Being curious, asking questions, advocate for change, especially if you're living in the Western world, in regards to how we're helping Africa, those countries in Africa that still have lions, and in Africa in particular, supporting communities, indigenous peoples who are working to look after their landscape and their homes and their wildlife. And I think just to be kind, just to be nice. Not, it's so easy, I think, with wildlife to point fingers and get into arguments, but we know that doesn't really work very well. So I think what you're doing is amazing. Having a platform, having a smile on your face, asking really important questions and being curious, like, keep that up. And if more kids your age are going to do that, then I definitely don't have any worries.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining me today, Rae. And remember, together kids can save the world. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.